So this little tribe in the middle of Peru is claiming that their village has been under attack by aliens for over a month now. However, Peruvian authorities, along with the military, looked into this situation, and they claim that these aliens are actually illegal gold miners with jetpacks pretending to be aliens, trying to scare off villagers so they can mine the area for resources. Now, if you ask me, that sounds even crazier than real aliens attacking this village. What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and if you have not been keeping up with this story, then you are doing yourself a huge disservice. It is a really interesting and fun story. The type of story I like, a story that has layers, and boy oh boy does this story have many layers, some of which we have not even gotten to yet. But if you're unfamiliar with this story, go ahead and check out my previous videos on the topic, because we're about to dive right in. So as all of you all know, this village in Peru, they claim they're under attack by aliens. But I called it out early on that their description of these aliens and these attacks, it just doesn't sound right to me. Now, of course, it could be aliens. It could be anything. But in all of the research I've done on aliens, very rarely do you hear of attacks. And in my mind, if an alien wants to attack you, it's probably going to get the job done. None of these villagers have been killed. None of them have even been necessarily seriously injured. One girl got scratched on the neck, another guy got banged on the head, but in my opinion, if we had these advanced beings from another world or another dimension attacking this village in Peru, I think they would get the job done. So that right there didn't sit right with me. And then the way they described these aliens, they literally said that they looked like the Green Goblin from the Spider-Man movie. That they looked as if they had some type of armor on, and they had like jet boots or something along those lines that helped them hover and fly around. Now, immediately I said that I don't feel like this sounds like aliens. The description is kind of off for me, but then again, aliens could look like anything, so I'm not saying they're wrong, but the description sounded more like humans in body armor with some type of high-tech equipment as opposed to actual aliens. And, you know, just the story about how everything is going down, I don't see why aliens would want to just pop up and wreak havoc on this village at night and, you know, basically just scare them. They're not stealing anything. They're not killing anyone. They're not abducting anyone. They're just popping up at night like, woo, you know, scaring these tribe members, you know? So I'm like, this sounds like Scooby-Doo. I called it from the first day I looked into this story. I was like, this sounds like something from a Scooby-Doo plot. Someone pretending to be a monster or an alien trying to scare people off because they have some type of hidden motive. And apparently, from what the authorities say, this was a Scooby-Doo situation. They claim that illegal gold miners equipped with jetpacks and Lord knows what else is wreaking havoc on these villagers, trying to scare them away from portions of the jungle because they're mining for gold right in this area. Now, immediately when I reported this, a lot of people questioned me like, really? Are you going to believe this, Cinema Shogun? And listen, I'm here to report things. Now, I give my opinion often, but at the same time, I report to you all what is being reported. So if in Peru they're reporting that these are gold miners, I'm going to report that to you. It doesn't necessarily mean that I believe it. And yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, thinking about gold miners with jetpacks flying around dressed as aliens, it sounds really crazy, right? But another one of my theories was that this must be, or this might be, some type of, military trying to test advanced equipment. Now, obviously, it would have to be an advanced military, with high-tech equipment. So you could rule out many places on Earth. There's only I would say about a handful of countries that I think would be capable of having this type of technology. Now, if you think for 1 second that they don't have jetpacks out there and stuff like that, you're wrong. Like I showed you at the beginning of this video, jetpacks are very much real. Me and you, we might not be jetpacking around anytime soon, but the military has been testing stuff like this for years. So my initial thoughts were basically either this is a Scooby-Doo situation, which is what the Peruvian authorities and military now want us to believe, or this is some type of high-tech military gear. Well, I started looking into things, and let me tell you, this story is getting juicier by the moment, because it looks like Peru and the Peruvian military and the Peruvian Air Force, they just signed all types of contracts and deals with U.S. Space Command. I kid you not. This is something that happened back in April. Let's go ahead and take a look. U.S. Space Command and the Peruvian Air Force sign SSA. U.S. Space Command, the Peruvian National Commission on Aerospace Research and Development, and the Peruvian Air Force signed a Space Situational Awareness Sharing Agreement April 18th, 2023. U.S. Army General James Dickinson, U.S. Space Commander Lieutenant General Carlos Enrique Chavez Cantariano, Peruvian Air Force Chief of Staff, and the Peruvian Air Force Major General Jose Antonio Garcia Morgan, CONIDA Director, signed the agreement during Space Symposium 38 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. U.S. Space Command's Space Situational Awareness Sharing Program enhances the safety, stability, security, and sustainability of spaceflight for all. U.S. Space Command holds more than 170 space situational awareness sharing agreements with partners from the commercial sector, academia, and foreign and intergovernmental agencies that share views about responsible behaviors in space. So here we have, back in April, the Peruvian military has basically gotten in bed with U.S. Space Command. Now, what in the hell does the Peruvian Air Force have any concerns about U.S. Space Command? Why are they signing this deal? Your guess is as good as mine. I guess Peru has taken this sudden interest in outer space. When I think of exploring outer space, Peru is probably pretty low on the list of countries or areas that I would think would be even interested or even capable of exploring outer space. Yet for some reason, U.S. Space Command has gotten really close with the Peruvian government and the Peruvian military. So, as you all know, here in America, we are at this point where our politicians, our government, even military officials are openly talking about UFOs. Now, don't think for 1 second that it's a coincidence that all of this talk about UFOs starts coming out after we establish a Space Force, okay? You got to understand that the Space Force needs funding. They need money. So they have to make the American public believe that we need to fund them with our tax dollars and things like that. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing an uptick in discussions about UFOs. Now, I find it odd that we're having these meetings about UFOs in Congress in the U.S., and then over here in small areas like Peru, we have supposed alien attacks. It all seems kind of almost artificial, like it's all supposed to go together, like they want us to start worrying about these alien attacks. They're not bold enough to pull anything like this in the middle of New York or LA or Atlanta or name an American city, because they know we would see through the nonsense. But they could do these weird little things to Peruvian villagers and they won't know any better. Okay? Now, I'm not telling you that this is for sure what's happening. I just find this really odd. But hey, that's not it. Right here, this is from July 28th. Okay? Peru bolsters international space collaboration with key U.S. partners during exercise. Operation Happy Sir, a space exercise nested under Exercise Resolute Sentinel 2023, has opened a new chapter in international space collaboration at the Centro Nacional de Operaciones, I'm not even going to read all of that stuff, in southern Peru. The space exercise aims to bolster the region's emerging space programs. The U.S. Southern Command-led exercise partnered up with U.S. Space Command's Joint Task Force Space Defense Commercial Operations Cell, or JCO, the Peruvian Aerospace Research and Development Center, and the Peruvian Air Force, making significant strides in multinational space operations through training on real-world space domain awareness capabilities and JCO mission system familiarization. Harpy Sir's Theater Space Operations Center Commander, Peruvian Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Javier Ildefonso, highlighted the need for collaborative efforts with partner nations and interest in space domain awareness. For Peru, it is very important, the cooperation and partnerships with nations. For example, 2 months ago, the Peruvian Space Agency and Peruvian Air Force just signed an agreement with the U.S. Space Command. We now have access to different types and kinds of space information useful for different proposals, considering the different threats that we have in space. Hold on right there. What threats would Peru have in space? They signed this deal with the U.S. Space Command. They're talking about threats from space, and then the news breaks that little villages in Peru are under attack by aliens. The plot thickens, but there's more. Let's go forward. Happy Sir, named for Peru's legendary harpy eagle, or Harpy Sir, named for Peru's legendary harpy eagle and the Spanish word for south, followed the signing of an updated space situational awareness sharing agreement between U.S. Space Command, CNIDA, and the Peruvian Air Force in April of this year. With this agreement, Peru is poised to elevate its space capabilities and contribute to international space safety and sustainability. Exercise Resolute Sentinel has brought together international military satellite operators, engineers, and commercial sensor providers onto the same ops floor, said British Air Force Commander Nick Hallchurch. JCO United Kingdom team led the opportunity to learn from each other's skill sets has been invaluable. The exercise provided an opportunity for space operators from the Peruvian Air Force and other partner nations, including Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and Ecuador, to interact with and learn from NATO member space professionals from the US and the UK. The team enhanced their entire Resolute Sentinel Joint Force through key space support activities such as space domain awareness operations, commercial space imagery, and electromagnetic warfare. Electromagnetic warfare. During the 9 days, I learned and shared many experiences as a Peruvian satellite operator, said Peruvian Air Force Lieutenant Luzith Tello, CNIDA Sat-1 flight dynamics satellite operator. One of the things that stuck out to me was the different organizations involved in creating the notices to space operators and how these notifications are generated. As a satellite operator, it was gratifying to see. A not so akin to a NOTAM in aviation is a critical communication tool designed to ensure the safety and efficiency of space operations. The JCO's involvement with R23 represents the expanding international interest in cooperative SDA. So, other words, long story short, you could read through the whole report. Long story short, Peru signed this deal with the U.S. Space Command, right? And then like 2 months later, we get reports of hovering, armored, possibly aliens attacking little villages. But it's not like they're trying to kill anyone. It's like, to me, it's either they're trying to scare people or they're testing out equipment. You know, they mentioned that these aliens or whatever they are, they got like boots or shoes that help them levitate, like gravity boosters and stuff. So I don't know what's going on here. I believe 100% that this tribe is getting attacked or harassed. I think the better word is harassed. I think this tribe in this village, they're getting harassed by something. But right now, we don't know what that something is. In my opinion, I do not think it's aliens. And I am a believer in aliens. I fully believe in aliens. I just don't think aliens are going to pop up at a village in Peru and basically taunt people in the middle of the night. As I've said before, and I still keep the same theory now. Either this is a Scooby-Doo situation, maybe the story about these illegal miners is true, and I know it's far-fetched to think, oh, these Peruvian gold miners got jetpacks and stuff. Don't think about the actual people out there mining for gold. Think about who may be funding the operation, okay? Because people in their mind, they think of like poor people, you know, out here scavenging for gold, when in reality, this could be a very, very expensive operation that's being run by a very powerful person. In my opinion, if it is the case that these are gold miners out there flying around on jetpacks, acting like aliens, scaring off villagers, I would think there's a lot of money behind that operation. But make no mistake about it, whatever is going on here, I do not feel like it's aliens. I feel like it's either the government, our government, other governments, maybe our government working with other governments. I don't know. I feel like it's some type of advanced military equipment being tested out, you know, flying around these damn villagers. But then again, you know, one of these villagers claimed that they shot one of these things and it got back up. So I wouldn't think that these gold miners would have, you know, the type of body armor needed for something like that. But then again, maybe they would. You never know. But it's extremely weird, ladies and gentlemen, that U.S. Space Command signs this deal with Peru. Now they're going to be helping them defend themselves from space invaders and spatial electromagnetic warfare and all of this nonsense. And as soon as they sign this deal, you know, all of a sudden we got these weird creatures or possibly armored individuals flying around a village. Like I always say, pay attention to the timing of things. You know, why now? And, you know, even though we've been talking about these attacks on this village in Peru, Peru has always been a hotbed for UFO activity. And, you know, there's always been a lot of sightings of UFOs and stuff in Peru. And I think that maybe when U.S. Space Command signed this deal, a lot of it was maybe because they wanted to gather more intelligence and information from Peru and Peru's government about what they know about aliens and UFOs. Because if you look through like the history of UFOs and aliens and stuff like that, there's been cave markings, you know, art, just a lot of stuff coming out of Peru about aliens, you know, just for years. So who knows what's going on here? I am going to continue trying to get to the bottom of it, though. And I'm glad that all of you all are joining me. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. and I'll be talking to you all very soon in the next video.